Hi everyone, my name is HUSSAIN in Malaysian Sign Language, and I am from the Signal Squad.
Hello everyone, my name is Faris. I am MAKMOR Faris bin ZUKEIMAN from the Signal Squad.
Hi, my name is FATIN. Fatin. So my name is Fatin FARIENI binti FAUDZILAH, and I am one of the team members for Signal Squad.
Hello everyone, my name is HAZIMAH. That's HAZIMAH in Malaysian Sign Language. I am Nur Hazimah binti Ahmad ZAINI from Signal Squad.
Assalamualaikum. My name is TAUFIQ. I am Nur Muhammad TAUFIQ, and I'm the final member of the Signal Squad. Now that we have introduced ourselves, let us proceed with the presentation of our project called the Silent Voices 2.0.
For the introduction of this slide, we'll explain on the MSL, the MFD in brief, the scope and the objectives of this project. Moving on to the implementation section, we'll be explaining on the progress from the initiation to the post-project work. Then we'll proceed with the analysis of the data from post-project work, including the SWOT analysis. Following with the reflection, we'll conclude this project and wrap it up with recommendations for improvement.
Alright, let's first talk about the background of our project and why we chose to cover the topic of sign language for our project this semester. While we were looking into some probable topics for our project, we came across some information regarding the deaf community. We found out that 1 of 5 people in this world will have some sort of hearing impairment to some degree, and that in 2017, 30,000 Malaysians were registered as people with hearing disabilities. Adding to this, the overuse of ASL, which is the American Sign Language, has caused struggle for Malaysians to practice our country's official sign language, which is the Malaysian Sign Language, or in Malay, Bahasa Isyarat Malaysia. Furthermore, since a senior group had once conducted a similar project called Silent Voices in the previous semester, we decided our project to be organized as a continuation to their project, hence the name Silent Voices 2.0 that we decided to roll with. Since our project revolves around the Malaysian Sign Language, or for short MSL, it would be improper for us to not first introduce what MSL is. As stated in Act 685, or the Persons with Disabilities Act 2008, MSL is the official sign language for the deaf community in Malaysia. It was adapted from the American Sign Language, which is widely used throughout the world, and it was then revised to better fit with the cultures in Malaysia. Since it is now the official sign language in Malaysia, MSL is also offered in many local universities as elective courses. Next, I would like to state that our project would not be successful without the help of the Malaysia Federation of the Deaf, or MFD for short. We corresponded with them and collaborated with them in our program because they have contributed greatly in developing the Malaysian Sign Language. Plus, they also offer course instructors to teach MSL to both government as well as private agencies. In our program, the MFD greatly helped us by providing speakers, translators, as well as instructors to share their knowledge and experience on MSL, as well as the deaf community, and promote the importance of MSL to the participants. Alright, let us now move on to the objectives of Silent Voices 2.0. First of all, we conducted our project to spread awareness on the importance of sign language in Malaysia, especially to help ease communication with the Malaysian deaf community. Secondly, we also want to teach the basics of Malaysian Sign Language to the Malaysian society so that our official sign language gets promoted to the people of our country. Finally, we organize our program to promote MFD's objective as an organization as well as an education channel to learn more about MSL and the deaf community. Moving on, let us talk about the scope of our project. When promoting our program, we targeted university students and SPM leavers to be the participants, but we also opened the registration to everyone who are interested in the program for free, since we did not want to send a message that sign language is only for a certain group of people, but instead it is for everyone to learn. However, after discussing with MFD, we decided to limit the participants to 70 people to allow focused interactions between speakers and the participants.
Hello everyone, I am HAZIMAH, and for my part, I will be explaining about how we executed our project. So our project is divided into 4 parts, which are initiation, planning and preparation, the event period, and last but not least, the post-events. We first initiated the project by first acknowledging some limitations due to the COVID-19 pandemic that is yet to be resolved. We had to think of a project idea that could be conducted online instead of face-to-face interaction. During our discussion on WhatsApp, we had listed a few ideas before finally deciding on conducting a sign language workshop. Due to the similarities, we decided to continue our seniors project from last semester, which was also a sign language workshop. Next, we discussed about our group name, project name, and objectives, while our logo was designed by the person in charge of multimedia. The next step is the planning and preparation phase. Since we are continuing our seniors project, we decided to contact the group leader, Aaron, through Google Meet. Through our meeting, we were able to ask him about the details of their program, how they conducted it, and some suggestions to improve the program. We also received the contact information for the sign language instructor, Mr. Sazali from MFD, that collaborated with them for their project. Next, their Instagram account was also transferred to us to be used as our social media platform. Now, the next step is to contact the Malaysian Federation of the Deaf to ask for a collaboration. Of course, in order to organize a sign language workshop, our main focus at the beginning of the preparation stage was to secure an experienced sign language instructor to conduct the course. One of the organizations we were hoping to collaborate with was the Malaysian Federation of the Deaf, also known as MFD, who worked with our senior for the project last semester. We were very fortunate that Mr. MUHAMAD Shari, the Executive Director of the Malaysian Federation of the Deaf, was willing to conduct the course without any charges. We also sent our letter of correspondence and our project proposal to the organization. Communications with him prior to the workshop were done through WhatsApp to provide him with any updates regarding the workshop as well as to receive inputs from his side. Next, we also prepared our social media platform and some promotional materials. Majority of our social media campaigning was done through regular posting on our Instagram account, the Silent Voices. Besides spreading awareness, the campaign was held to attract more participants to join our workshop. Our posts were made of fun facts about sign language to attain a greater range of audience. The infographics and promotional materials were done by the person in charge of multimedia. Last but not least, we also created and distributed our registration form for the workshop. Considering its convenience and familiarity, the registration for the workshop was done through Google Forms. The registration form comprised of questions such as email address and contact number, which were used to send the Google Meet link, as well as to add all the participants together into a WhatsApp group for announcements. The completed registration form was shared to our Instagram account, WhatsApp, and also Telegram. So, the next phase is the event period. First, let me tell you about the details of our program. The Silent Voices 2.0 Sign Language Workshop was held on 9th May 2021 for Group 1 and 16 May 2021 for Group 2, and Google Meet was our platform of choice. The workshop started at 10 a.m. and ended at 4 p.m. with a 2-hour break in between. A limit of 35 participants was set for each group as per request from the Malaysian Federation of the Deaf themselves for a more interactive learning experience between the instructors and participants. Our group members, as the organizers, started waiting in the meeting room from 9:30 a.m. to admit participants who would come earlier than expected, and by 9:55 a.m., most participants were already in the meeting room. At 10 a.m. sharp, our MC began the session by giving a brief explanation about our project and introducing the speaker, Mr. Sazali. At about 10:50 a.m., our program commenced with a presentation from Mr. Sazali about the backgrounds of Malaysian Sign Language, or also known as BIM, and about the deaf culture in Malaysia, with the help of two interpreters, Ms. Goh and Madam Zuraida. At the end of his presentation, we had a short Q&A session with the participants. We stopped at 12 p.m. in the afternoon for prayer break for Muslims and lunch break for non-Muslims. At 2 p.m. sharp, we resumed our program with our next activity, which is Basic Malaysian Sign Language class. This class was taught by two instructors from MFD, Ms. Chai Sin and Ms. Nosaada. In this class, we learned how to sign alphabets, numbers, colors, and simple phrases in Malaysian Sign Language. Participants were actively engaged with the instructors throughout the session before it ended at 3:50 p.m. Before we ended the program, we had a quick photo session together with the participants. The last phase is the post-event phase. At the end of each workshop, a feedback form is given out to the participants and collected through Google Forms. The questions for the feedback form are constructed to measure whether or not the objective of our project has been achieved and to ask for improvements that can be made. The link to the feedback form was posted in the Google Meet chat box and in the respective WhatsApp group, which is the main mode of communication between the organizing team and the participants. We also conducted a semi-structured interview with some of the participants who joined our workshop. The purpose of conducting these interviews is to better understand our participants' experience and opinions regarding our project. The interview questions created were open-ended questions so that in-depth information can be collected. E-certificates was also created for all the participants who joined our program. It was also an initiative used to attract more participants to join the sign language workshop on top of encouraging them to fill in the feedback form. We generated the certificates based on the name of the participants and sent it to them using the email address provided in the feedback form. Next, as an act of gratitude, we gave the speaker, instructors, and interpreters from Malaysian Federation of the Deaf a token of appreciation for collaborating with us for our project. After discussing with MFD, we settled on giving each of the person involved a McDonald's voucher worth 30 ringgit respectively. The total for all of the vouchers bought was 150 ringgit, and all of our group members donated a portion of their own money in order to buy it. The vouchers were bought through Shopee app and were then mailed to the organization after the program ended. Next, we also analyzed the data collected from the registration form and feedback form. Google Forms intelligent data analysis has helped us in collecting and understanding the participants' view on their needs and opinions for our project. The data collected was converted into several pie charts and bar charts to visualize the data easily. Last but not least, our group members worked together in the making of our final report for this project. Each group member was assigned with respective parts to complete for the final report. The outline of the report included executive summary, project implementation, analysis of responses, reflection, recommendation, and conclusion. Each member was also in charge in preparing the presentation slides according to their trusted parts.
Feedback is very crucial. Only from feedback we can know our absolute performance. Hence, we collected our feedback and decided to share the findings with all of you. To give an overview, we managed to attract 72 participants in total, 36 for each session, and out of the 72 participants, 44 of them filled up our feedback form. But what is the most important is that 100% of the respondents are satisfied with our program. So in our feedback form, we were trying to understand better on these two main elements of our program. The first one is the participants' experience, and the second one is the participants' takeaway, to ensure that our participants not only just enjoy our program, but also gain something from it. The first aspect that we are going to dissect is the participants' experience. We are first going to go through the numbers where 86.4% of our respondents agree that our objective for our program were clearly defined. During the introduction session, before we started, both of our MCs explicitly clarify the reason on why we are gathered here on a Sunday morning to learn sign language. We shared with our participants our objective to help them stay motivated throughout our program. One of the key to our successful program is interaction and participation. That is why we include the question of whether the participation and interaction were encouraged throughout the event, and to that question, 90.9% agrees that participation and interaction were encouraged. This is fascinating because we had a silent sign language workshop where our instructors will just communicate with us through the chat box or through sign. And the response and participation were outstanding. Language was definitely not a barrier for us on both Sundays. And the last number to reflect our participants' experience, and the most heartwarming one, is that 90.9% finds our program worthwhile. This means a lot to us, especially for the second session attendees, because it was held during the early days of Raya month. Not only we were collecting numbers and figures, we also interviewed two of our participants. One of them, Tan Weng Hui, that finds this program exceeded her expectation because when she attended the program, she thought that it was just going to be another slideshow sharing session. But there were also workshops on the sign language as well, which to her was a pleasant surprise. And for our another interviewee, HUSSAIN, he hopes that more programs like this will be held in the future because he is excited to learn more on sign language. And it is very heartwarming to receive these comments because it shows that they enjoy our programs as much as we enjoy organizing it for them. Now, we move on to the second section of our feedback form, the participants' takeaway, where we surveyed how many signs that they remembered. We asked them if they have a better understanding on sign language after our program, and if they would like to communicate with the deaf after our program using the knowledge that they gain from our program. Not only that, we also asked for their opinions on how we can help to increase the awareness on Malaysian Sign Language, or BIM. As a result, 65.9% of our respondents remember more than 20 alphabet signs after our program, and 97.7% agrees that they will communicate with the knowledge that they gain. With all this analysis, it is time for us to reflect back to our objective and see if we have achieved them. So the first one is to spread awareness on sign language, which we managed to do to a total of 72 participants. Next, to teach the basic of Malaysian Sign Language to the Malaysian society. Achieve and check. And lastly, to promote the Malaysian Federation of the Deaf's objective as an organization and as an education channel, which our instructors and speakers did a tremendous job with. So, check. It is a blessing to learn that we have achieved what we are here to do.
I'll be continuing the presentation with the SWOT analysis. For the strength, first, as this course was being handled online, we didn't have to book any venue. Therefore, we didn't have to come out with any cost to book a hall or room to carry out this project. Second, the classes were considered effective as the coordinators are really experienced. The MFD is accustomed in handling classes. For instance, they always prepare one backup translator for their online classes. Thanks to that, our session could keep going on even though there was internet connection issue back then. Our last strength in this project is the participation is really encouraging. Our registration form reached its maximum limit only in 2 days. This shows how much the society is eager to learn about sign language. Moving on to the weaknesses. First of all, most of us didn't have enough idea about how sign language classes usually be. Therefore, what's happening back then was not what we imagined it would be. Next, we only put some easygoing rules for the course, such as asking the participants to open their camera and be responsive to the interactions, but not as a compulsory. This affects the class morale and the interaction between the teachers and the participants. Lastly, we cannot afford to get a complete feedback from every participant. This data is important to us, but as this project was being handled online, to get a complete feedback from every participant is a tough one. Advancing to opportunities, first, from the causes and the responses in the e-form, the participants were really interested about sign language. Their enthusiasm can be channeled to the MSL organizations other than the MFD, as they also promote and teach the MSL. Next, we can use our social media accounts like Instagram and Facebook to broaden our audience. Factual materials with sketchy design can be used to attract more people to learn about the MSL. Continuing to the last one, Mr. Sazadi, the president of the MFD, offered for more collaboration about sign language classes as he himself is currently taking classes in the UM. This is a golden chances for us to handle more of this project. Moving on to the tracks. First and foremost, internet connectivity issue. Having weak connection from the coordinators and the participants really interrupting the course flow as our courses were being fully handled online. This is a big obstacle for us to face. Next, we faced low participation during the day of the crash course. The number of the participants for the second occurrence of the course was not as much as those who were registered. This was due to the day of the course was within the Hari Raya week. Proceeding to reflection. First, as we were being suggested by the course instructor to get more participants for this volume, the MFD themselves asked day after the suggestion was accepted for a smaller group for the session to increase interaction. Therefore, we decided to follow the MFD as they were the teachers for the courses. Next time, we should confirm earlier to avoid any conflicts like this. We also did not explore much about how sign language classes usually be held. We did prepare some technical support for this crash course. However, during the program, it seemed like this support was not needed as the MFD themselves did their own preparation. About the program policies, we did apply some rules, but it was too lenient that led to some issues in the post-project phase. To solve the insufficient responses from the participants, we did remind the participants to fill it out before we revoked the WhatsApp group, and it did increase the number of the responses, although not too significant. We also learned how to send different attachments to different recipients on one mailing using Gmail, which is an extension for Gmail. We look for the tutorial to use it on YouTube.
From our point of view, we believe that this project had achieved all the objectives we set at the beginning of the project. We also can conclude that this project can be considered successful. We believe that this project had brought a lot of benefits to people around us, especially to the participants. As the organizer of this project, we learned a lot of new things and gained valuable experience that might help for future reference that contribute to future. Despite our project had brought a bunch of joy to the participants and also to the community, we still believe that there are still some room for improvement which we strive to improve in the future. On the other hand, there are some recommendations we can do to ensure a better planned campaign next time. First, strategize the project promotion by expanding the spectrum of the promotion in all social media platforms. Second, improve the promotion materials by using more catchy keyword and done it a bit earlier to gain more participants. Organize many other interactive activities that can increase people's awareness on the importance of learning sign language. And fourth, convey the NGO's vision publicly by collaborating tighter and held the discussion more often.
Okay, we have now reached the appendices section of our presentation, where we will glance through once again at the materials that we have used throughout the program, as well as some screenshots taken during the event itself. Before the program, we sent a correspondence letter attached with the support letter from the course coordinator, as you can see on the left here. You can also see to the right our conversation with Mr. Sazali from the MFD regarding the details of the project. And here is the said correspondence letter to the MFD. And next, we have promotional materials which we posted on social media such as Instagram and WhatsApp to get participants to join us in the program. And then here, we have the logo we use for our program, as well as the registration form for the participants to fill in before joining the program. Okay, these are some of the screenshots taken during the MSL crash course, and we had a lot of fun learning the sign language, and the instructors were also very pleasant and cheerful. After the program, we told the participants to fill in the feedback form and handed them the e-certificates. And finally, we have here the RM150 worth of McDonald's gift certificates as token of appreciation to the speakers, instructors, as well as translators from the MFD.
That's all from us. Thank you.